Y'all, it's a little bit smoky in here, but I just finished a 72-hour fast. I'm about to have my first meal afterward. You can see the aftermath. I sous vide my meats. I use an iron skillet. This is what I'm eating for my first meal back. So this will be a bone-in ribeye, where of course I took off the bone. If you're interested in this fast, stick around. I'm gonna have a little sit down and go over my opinion on it and how I felt and if it's worth it for you. But in the meantime, I'm gonna eat this ribeye. I'm gonna eat that cap right there because that is the best cut of beef to ever exist. And I'll see y'all shortly. Right, y'all, we're getting straight into benefit number one, rapid water loss. You see, we tend to hold a lot of water, right? Ton of water. I mean, we're made up of, I wanna say up to 90% water is something I read somewhere. So the moment you hop on this carnivore diet, you're gonna notice you're gonna be sweating a lot, and you're also gonna be thirsty a ton. During this time, in the span of 72 hours, Lord, I don't even wanna know how many gallons I drank. I was probably pushing 2, if not 2.5, 3 gallons every single day. And the thing was, if I didn't drink that much water, my lips would start drying. I was thirsty. I genuinely needed that much water. And your body's just gonna keep going through this crazy cycle of just letting out every single toxin. And if you have a sauna, use it to your advantage. There's a reason I did water during the 72-hour fast. You can do it dry. Now, the issue with myself is I already was kind of eating more carnivore, less carbs. So I was already kind of starting to cramp up because I wasn't having that much water in my body. So I knew, especially because I run and I do saunas and I work out, I was gonna cramp. So I decided to keep water in. I will say day one was probably the more difficult one because I'm used to eating at least one meal every single day. So the moment that meal came along, my body was thrown for a loop. It was like, what? Wait a second. Why aren't we having this meal? Reason number two is inflammation. Inflammation really affects us day to day. You see, our body is not meant to be eating all the time. When you're eating all the time, your brain fog is through the roof. The moment you start this fast, don't get me wrong, you're gonna be thinking about food and you're gonna be thinking about it almost all the time. It's kind of disgusting how much we think about food day to day. Like I'll be in the middle of driving and out of nowhere I'm like, oh my gosh, a donut sounds really good. And these were cravings that I didn't really have because I was already eating food enough to the point where I was full. So the moment my body thought, oh, I'm in a state of panic, I'm starving, I need food, it just gave me all these super calorically dense cravings to satiate that because, I mean, my body doesn't want to starve. But as you start thinking of all this food, you realize actually my brain fog is gone. I actually can think clearly. And the one thing that takes up the most amount of our brain power is food, digestion. When your body is digesting food, it does not think as clearly. It's occupied trying to break down all this energy. Your day-to-day life won't feel as easy. You're gonna feel a little more sluggish naturally. You're gonna feel a little more lethargic. Your body is reducing inflammation. It's getting rid of cells in your body that aren't really meant to be there. Not only that, but it's clearing out your gut bacteria, which leads to less stomach acidity. It leads to less hunger hormones. Your face is gonna feel slimmer. Your hands are gonna be less puffy, less water retained. Overall, your inflammation is gonna go down. Your gut's gonna be healthier. Your brain power is gonna be higher. You're not gonna think of food as much when this is all over. Because the one thing I noticed day to day, I was just constantly feeling the need to eat. And as soon as I was on this fast, it just went away. Number three is autophagy. Autophagy is something that goes on in basically removing all waste in your body. Now you're gonna have a ton of bacteria that just is not meant to be in your gut. Your bowel movements are gonna be something else, like let me tell you. Because you don't have fiber, you don't have protein to keep it together, it's gonna be loose, so expect that. And you're drinking in a ton of water. Be ready to be running here and there. You won't really have a choice. Benefit number four, and the most beneficial of them all, was just my overall brain power. I had mental clarity throughout my entire day. I wasn't thinking about food. I was in the moment. I was present. I wasn't ever feeling lethargic. There'd be times where I felt like I carried myself a little bit slower, but my brain was sharp. Human interactions felt different. I just felt like I was present, I was there, I was in the moment. When people would speak, my brain took the time to interpret what they said. When I'd be focused on my deep work, it felt so much easier. Something about digestion really does affect your brain power. It really does. You're not really meant to be eating all the time, y'all. You think of past times when we would actually only be eating once a day. So after this 72-hour fast, I started being more careful of when I actually eat. I used to actually kind of just roll out of bed, and if I felt slightly hungry, and because I'm in a deficit, I usually am, just went straight into the kitchen, cooked myself a meal, and the rest of my day felt slower. I wasn't really as motivated to do the things that I wanted to do. I prefer to kind of just kick back and watch stuff. I didn't really want to use my brain. I didn't want to really focus because my body is so busy breaking down the meal I just had. Number 5, hunger signals. I am able to eat when I feel like eating. I can fast all day if I really wanted to, and I don't feel as miserable. It's almost like I'm in this deep phase of ketosis where my body could go hours without eating, hours without thinking of food, and that is just absolutely priceless. To be able to be doing things and not think of food constantly and not feel this sense of gratitude and dopamine from the idea of eating a donut. After all of it, you're going to really realize how much you actually day to day are thinking of food. How much you're constantly thinking of when you could be using a coffee, when you can pick yourself up with a little bit of carbs and make you feel a little better throughout your day. When you don't have that thing you can reach for and feel pleasant suddenly, it kind of really puts things into perspective. You're stuck in the moment. You're stuck doing what you need to do, getting done what you need to get done. Now, do know, of course, a lot of the weight you do lose is water, but the purpose of this is to promote autophagy, to get rid of a bunch of waste in your body, to improve your gut health, and to reduce inflammation, because at the end of the day, that's what prevents us from thinking to the best of our potential, because we're constantly digesting food. As you finish up, remember it is primarily water weight. It is not fat. You know, let's say you do eat 2,000 calories a day and you go 3 days without eating 2,000 calories, you're gonna burn almost 2 pounds of fat. But on top of that, you're gonna probably lose about 8 pounds of water. Your body is very smart. The moment you eat something, it's gonna start sending signals, eat, eat, eat. Let's get you back to where you were. We need to be filled up, ready for hibernation mode, as most people look like nowadays. The important thing is to make good choices afterward. Slowly start introducing food. Make sure it's whole foods. Make sure it's not foods that are gonna shoot your blood sugar levels up. Because if you reach for that candy, it's going downhill from there. You're gonna gain all the weight back. You're gonna feel miserable. You're not gonna feel motivated to keep losing weight. This is gonna be a great reset for you. Use it as a reset. When you're done, slowly eat, introduce good habits, and if you truly feel the need to reach for a Snickers bar, maybe have half of it and control it, monitor it, realize how it makes you feel, realize how much you actually start craving it again. Overpower your mind. You can enjoy foods that you want to enjoy, just always in moderation. It is calories in, calories out, so at the end of the day, if you're eating less calories, you're going to lose the weight, and suddenly you're going to realize you can actually control what you eat. Because you went 72 hours without eating anything, you have that willpower deep in you. You do. You have the willpower. Just keep that going for a longer duration. Keep discipline as a variable. You had discipline for 72 hours. Why not have it for the rest of your life in moderation from here on out? Give it a shot. I had nothing but good things. I mean, I feel overall higher energy levels with less hunger signals and a lot less stomach acidity. I just feel healthier, I feel better, I feel more energized, ready to use my dang brain. I'll see you fellas. I am officially getting rid of my weigh-in notebook. So this is my official last weigh-ins. I tracked this since back in February 9th, 2023. All the circled ones would be my average weigh-in, and on the side I'd put how long or how much I went up and down. And so my final weigh-ins here, final average was 144, 142, drop 1.5, and then this right here is what we're looking at, 143, 139, 137. Those are the last 3 weigh-ins since my 3-day fast, 72-hour fast. That way, I went from 143, 139.4, 137. Tomorrow morning, I will weigh myself after I had my meal for the day, about 2,000 calories. I'm still going to be in a deficit and trying to cut down, but I feel like it takes up too much of my brain. Sometimes I feel like I worry too much about my weight, and I'm constantly looking at, like, am I going up, am I going down, and it just, I can't see it as something beneficial anymore, so I'm going to toss it. The value is that I got my last final weigh-ins for the 3-day fast. And you're probably wondering, why toss it? Why not just keep it? Why not keep it going? I'm tossing a lot of crap because I have so much in my life that I want to really condense it to just being as minimal as possible and finding happiness in just a few things I have. I feel like I keep putting more and more things on my plate, and it just kind of like sits around. So right now my desk is a little bit of a mess because I'm figuring out the wiring for the bottom of the desk, but I will be keeping this notebook simply because I put I started with it as a journal, then I started putting like more valuable information that I truly agree with, and then this top one will be like my to-do for the days. Like tomorrow I work at 2 o'clock, that kind of stuff. But yeah, no more weighing notebook. Kind of a little sentimental about it, but I just don't see how weighing myself all the time and keeping it logged can be that beneficial unless I was really doing it for that big of a living, where I was essentially a bodybuilder of some sort. And it's struggling to focus on. But yeah, that is an update. Minimizing my space. Still getting rid of some stuff. I got rid of a bunch of stuff in my nightstand, got rid of a bunch of stuff in the bathroom. I think I'm gonna move into my workspace, and that should be about it. I don't really use anything else in my apartment. I'm in and out. I work with my 2 jobs, and then I haven't really been hustling content creation, but I do really want to focus on it, so that is why I'm cutting down. I just think, social media in a sense has this image that you have to fit into, so did the 72-hour fast primarily for stomach cleansing. I felt like I got really bad stomach acidity coming off of a bunch of carbs and gluten and that sort of stuff, so I did the fast to reduce inflammation, reduce hunger hormones, and so far so good. I eat my 1 meal and I'm not absolutely dreadful. I'm not starving and I'm not like miserable, so it's going well so far.